All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another video, another episode of Veteran Builds, the Raven series. And today I'm going to be finally replacing my vintage radio. I got a whole bunch of new stuff here that I'm going to lay out, and I'm basically going to show you guys what I got. It's a full audio system upgrade, so I'm replacing not only just my radio, my door speakers. My door speakers are getting replaced, and also the sub in the back. I'm finally replacing that too. And so lately, like, what I've been doing to play music off of my phone is I have like this little Bluetooth radio receiver here, and I mean this thing has like its own like tuner for treble and bass, but it can only really do so much, and there's a lot of distortion. And you know, if I take a road trip and everything, it also, like, it's kind of annoying because I have to sometimes change radio stations. So I decided, you know, today is the day. I finally got everything together, and I'm gonna be doing some custom work. I'm upgrading these speakers. They're supposedly, I believe, 5 3/4, and so I ended up getting component speakers that are 6.5 inches. I got a new radio in here. I'm gonna lay everything out so that you guys can see everything that I got, so don't worry about that. But got my new radio in here. It's semi prepared. I kind of connected some stuff in there. I got my speakers back there, my sub is back there, my new sub, and a couple other miscellaneous things. Two different amps, one for the speakers, the component speakers, and one for my sub. So the first thing I did, basically, I just rolled down all the windows because I'm gonna test fit the subwoofer, make sure that the subwoofer doesn't touch the glass in any way. And another thing is, my new component speakers, they come with crossovers and tweeters, so I'm gonna be doing some custom work on the doors themselves, which this is gonna be the most serious part of this video because I only have one shot of getting this right. And I've done it before. I've done it on another car, my previous car that I had before, but this car is so premium that I just don't want to make any mistakes. And so I'm gonna mount the tweeter somewhere on this door, and it's gonna be the same in the back. So stay tuned for all of that. So yeah, I rolled all the windows down already, and then the second thing I'm gonna do is disconnect the battery and finally start disassembling all of this right here very carefully, since everything's old. But the first thing that comes off is the wood trim, and then there's a couple of bolts behind here that I have to take off. So I'll show you guys after I'm done disconnecting the battery and everything, the process of taking this whole thing out. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so now I got everything laid out. Don't worry about this. I can explain that. But this is all the stuff that I got. So I basically got an Alpine ILX 507. It's got navigation and satellite radio, dash cam support, Bluetooth. Basically got everything that you need in a radio. And with this radio, I ended up getting the amp, which is like a 45 watt power pack, and it's solely going to be used to power up the speakers. So it's somewhere buried in here where all this wiring. Oh, here it is. This is what I got. Everything I got, most of the things I got here are from Crutchfield. Some of them are from a different store, but this is the KTP 445 Alpha. It goes with this radio basically, so it'll supply an extra 45 watts of power, which is good because I'm gonna need all the power I can get. And then I ended up getting this Alpine W8 subwoofer. So it's an 8-inch subwoofer, 2-ohm subwoofer, might I add. So it's gonna pair perfectly with my Hifonics amp, which I'm going to be replacing the original amp that comes with this car. I'm going to be replacing with this. So it's completely plug and play actually. And the amp is in this box with the radio. This is the Hifonics amp. I got this from another website. It's completely plug and play, so all the cords already attached to it. It has a volume control. It's got a knob control for the sub, and that's the connection that's gonna connect into where the old the old amp goes. And then I got some high quality wood from Home Depot because I'm gonna make a spacer for my sub, which I could have bought a spacer, but I totally forgot about it, so I ended up just getting some wood. I'm just gonna cut it out to the original shape of the sub, of the old sub, which is, it has like these tabs. There are like 4 tabs that go here, so I'm gonna line it up, shape it out, and then I'm gonna shape up the sub to here, fit it, and then paint over this. I have like some black paint. I'm gonna paint over this and then add the foam to the subs, and I'll be able to install it in that original spot in the back. So actually that's like the first thing I'm gonna end up doing is making this bracket for the sub, the spacer for the sub. So I already got the spacers for the speakers. These I ended up getting from the other website. Everything that I got, I'm gonna put in the description so you can get for yourself. I mean, these are the component speakers I'm using. They come with separate tweeters and crossovers here. They are the JL Audio C2 650s, 6x5 inches. So it's a 6x5 woofer basically, and then this tweeter is going to be custom mounted to the door. So these are going to be really nice, really nice. This is my first set of JL audios, and I can't wait to put them in. It's going to be so awesome. You see how big that magnet is? That's humongous. But yeah, so these spacers are going to go for these speakers here. All right, now I'm going to start getting to work and making this. First thing I'm going to do actually is remove the sub from the back. So this thing is only held in by some tabs, and all you got to do really is pull it up and slide it forward. Make sure that the third brake light is disconnected, which is down here. These are the spots for the third brake light, so I make sure those disconnected. That's the original sub right there. So the new sub is actually way deeper than this, so I'm gonna end up having to cut this piece off right here. This is just a bracket that holds these tensioners, and what these tensioners do is they support the trunk door, but this bracket is just here to hold these tensioners. So I don't really need this bracket for anything, so I'm gonna cut it out to make more space for the new sub. So let me get started with that. Yeah, so my explanation for these is when I meant to get the C2 650s in Crutchfield, and so I ended up ordering these over the phone, and I told them that I wanted the C2 650s, but they accidentally sent me the C2 600s, which are basically just 6-inch versions of the C2 650s. They got like 3 different sizes, and they ended up mistaking my order. So I ended up calling them, and they fixed my order, sent me these expedited shipping, and I ended up getting these just for this weekend. So what I'm gonna end up doing is, after I finish installing all my whole system, I'm gonna just return these, and yeah, let's just pretend like they were never here. So this is not part of my audio system. I'll just make them disappear there, but those are gonna be sent back. But yeah, so I didn't have to buy these. I got these for free because they messed up. So all I gotta do is just return those. Okay, so I ended up getting the old sub out. This is a Bose sub, and it's connected from here, positive, negative. So simple connections, basically. These are the connections back here. So now we have them exposed, and basically I'm just gonna leave this hanging until I get the new sub set up to this. So yeah, so the first thing now is I'm gonna take this with me, and I'm gonna shape out the length of the tabs on the wood, and then cut that piece out, and then take the new sub, put it in the middle of that, cut that piece, and make the new spacer for the sub. Yeah, it's like a little slim profile sub. So I think the way it's made is like, this is supposed to be the magnet here, and then the sub is actually really this part, and it has like 2 different coils here. It's pretty interesting design, but it doesn't really have a lot of power, you know. I mean, maybe back then it did, but it doesn't now. So so let me get started on making that spacer, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So I finally made the bracket, I finally made the spacer, and it took me a very long time to do, but I finally made it. It fits the sub perfectly. The sub's laying flat on there. So the spacer is finally done. So all I have to do is mount it to the back. Well, before I even do that, I still gotta cut this part. So that's gonna be the next thing that I do right now. I also ended up tapping these holes because they originally fit these bolts here, and these are 8s basically, and the holes are a lot smaller. So I tapped the holes to fit a bigger, longer bolt so that it'll be able to bolt down. Excuse the autofocus there. But so now that's good to go, and the spacer is finally done. So all I have to do left is wire this sub up. And since it's a dual voice coil, I have to wire it up, and then after that, install it into the back. Oh, and I have to put some foam down here as well. But all right, so stay tuned. That's gonna be next. All right, I just finished wiring up the sub. So of course you can see this is the original connector for the sub, right? So there's positive, there's negative. So all I did was connect negative all the way down to negative, positive all the way to positive, and made this harness, put together this harness. So the last thing I have to do is just tape this up, make sure it's nice and taped up, and then basically just put some more foam in this area, and then connect it in, and that should be good to go right there. All right, I just finished installing the sub right now. Everything's nice and tight. These bolts hold up really well, and to solidify them, I ended up finding some nuts with washers built into them so that they will stay secure, stay in place. So I already got everything wired up. There's the connector right there, and then I already started clearing everything out from the trunk, because there's the plug and play amp. It's right there. There's the connector for it. It's already connected, and then I gotta figure out if the sub works with one of these or both of them. So that'll be the next thing. And then of course it has this, and then I gotta figure out how to get this all the way to the front so that I have the sub controls basically. So that's I'm not gonna mess with that yet. For now, I have to start taking these door cards out and start setting up the component speakers. So stay tuned. All right, I just took out the rear door cards. These are the Bose speakers and everything, and these are the new JBLs, pretty much. So it looks like it definitely is a bigger speaker for sure. It's a bigger woofer, you know. So, and then these right here are the tweeters. So I'm gonna basically, what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna mount them like somewhere in either this area right here. No, actually, no. It has to be this area, because this is where the seat sits. So it has to be this area. So I'm gonna basically mount the speaker back here. Find like the flattest spot to mount it, and yeah, it'll basically sit like that. So so yeah, that's gonna be another thing that I'm gonna be doing right now. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start taking out the speakers. I have my window rolled all the way down so I could see if these magnets are gonna hit or not. I don't think so, because these spacers here are pretty deep and they match about the same size as the original speakers. So, and then of course these are the crossovers, so I'll have to install those. Yeah, these JL audio speakers are really high quality. Like, look how the terminals are made. Very nice, very highly designed. All right, let me start getting to work. Stay tuned. Quick thing, I just got this speaker out, and I just want to show you, for one, I already punctured a hole in it, since it's made out of very cheap paper. So yeah, it's blown now. But the other thing, this speaker sits in a tray. I'm not going to use the tray, but there's the connector right there. I got some harnesses for the new one, and basically the harness, this harness right here, is going to connect to the crossover. Then the crossovers are both going to connect the tweeter and this woofer. So that's how that's going to be set up. And yeah, I just wanted to show you, that's how little the magnet is. It's pretty small. compared to this big, giant, humongous magnet. It's like the biggest magnet I've ever seen on a speaker. Alright, so now that I got that out, I'm gonna start setting up the new speakers, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I basically got the harness. This is negative, this is positive here. I got those wired up. This goes to the crossover, which is gonna sit very nicely, and then this is already hooked up. See, the spacer is good, and it looks to be plenty of space back there, so I don't think the magnet is actually hitting. It's kind of hard to see back there, but I believe we are in the clear, actually. Yep. That magnet definitely clears. Oh, that magnet definitely clears. So now we're good to go. And now I'm just gonna put this side on, and basically what I did here, this is where the new tweeter is sitting. This is the crossover. So positive goes to positive, negative goes to negative. Same thing for the connector. And then on the other side of this is where the tweeter sits. So that's completely done. That right there is completely done. So all I have to do now is put the door back on and wire up the subwoofer crossovers, and then put the door on. Alright, so that'll be next. Okay, I'm back. This is basically the next day. I had to leave yesterday because it was getting pretty late, but I finally finished the rear doors. The tweeters are sitting very nicely in their spot. So you got the tweeter, you got the woofer, and somewhere around this area I ended up putting the crossover. And I did the same for the other side too. So the other side's complete now. Made sure that the insignia was pointed down, so it looks pretty good. As good as it's gonna get. So now with the doors closed, I'll show you the position of where it's at. Now with the door closed, the tweeters sit right there. So that's a perfect spot, basically. Nobody's knee is gonna be hitting it or anything. And that's the same for the other side too. So now I'm gonna work on setting up the front system now. The front door. I'm gonna start working on the front door. I'm gonna end up putting the tweeter in the same spot, like somewhere around this area, so that we'll keep the same look basically, and it should be fine in that spot. And I'm gonna do the same to the other side, and so yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, I hit a bit of a snag with the front doors. So basically, I was taking out the original speakers. Of course, the original speakers fit in there, but because the magnet is so freaking large on these woofers, so I was putting them in, and they weren't sitting flush because this hole was actually a little too small. So I ended up having to take the spacer back out, and I'm in the process of cutting where I marked, because I use a paint marker here to mark the inside of the spacer. I ended up having to, I'm basically having to modify this door, cut the metal out a little more so that the magnet, this big giant magnet, could actually fit in this hole. And I'm gonna show you on the other side how it looks. So that's originally how the hole looks. It's pretty small hole. You could see that. And so I'm just my Dremel just freaking died, so I gotta put it on the charger right now. So I was in the middle of cutting this hole, but now my Dremel died. So while my Dremel charges, I'm gonna go ahead and start disassembling the radio and getting that out, so that I'll start putting the radio in while my Dremel charges, and then I'll finish up these doors pretty much. Alright, so I'm just gonna leave that the way it is, put my Dremel on the charger, and start disassembling everything here. Alright. Okay, I finally got everything out. Everything is out. And I finally got the radio loose. So now the radio is loose and out the way. So I'm gonna start disconnecting that radio. And I have the glove box here. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna be replacing this port. Let it focus. I'm going to be replacing that port there in that box, and I'm going to be replacing this port right here. I got two different connectors. So this is the Alpine radio that I'm installing. And I already got everything wired up right now, so I'm just gonna put that there. And then the other things I have, this I got on Amazon. It's basically just like a built-in charger. So I'm gonna open it real quick. So this is basically a built-in charger. Has two Type C chargers and two Type B chargers, 3.0, so I can have quick charge. So I'm gonna end up putting that in here, and it's gonna be built into this. And then there I have another one, the other one here that I have, if I could find it. I got all this wiring stuff. There's another one I have that's going to be connected to the radio itself. It's in another box. Hold on a minute. Where did I put that connector? Hold on a second. Okay, I got it. So this one right here, this one's gonna be for the radio. It's got two connectors, so that one's gonna be going here, and I'm gonna be taking this port out, putting this in, so that anytime I need to update my radio, I don't have to have any wires dangling. I could just connect it from there. So I'm gonna have those. I'm gonna wire those up and get this radio out, set up the bracket for this new radio, and then I have to install the power pack, which is this. This power pack specifically goes to this radio here, so I have to install it, find a proper ground and power just for this amp. So it's going to be wired to the battery, and that's going to be powering my component speakers. So I got the harness for this amp here too, so that I could get it wired up. So yeah, I just gotta disconnect this. There's a little connector back there that I have to sneak out. I'll show you that connector. It's like a green connector. That connector is important because that's the one that's gonna connect this radio to the sub back there. So it's this connector right here. So I gotta find that connector, reroute it, and plug it in, and I'll have my sub connected to the radio. Alright, so let me get to work. Okay, so I just finished hooking everything up for the new radio. Here's the amp. So the 45 watt amp. So basically it's plug and play. So this gray connector connects to the radio, and then this black connector connects to the harness for the OEM harness. This is the connector I was talking about for your subwoofer. This is actually connected to here. So basically, how to get to this connector, you have to remove these screws, and then there would be some screws here to remove too, and then you slide it out, disconnect it, slide it back in, and tighten everything back up. So everything here is properly connected. So now all I have to do left is power it on, make sure everything works. Here I'm just gonna play something just to make sure the sub works and make sure that the amp and all the connections are working. And then if everything is working, then I'll be able to put everything back in. This is the navigation antenna, so I have to find a place for it. And then these connectors are for the radio themselves. So what I ended up doing is I had to do some custom work with my Dremel, and I took the cigarette lighter out, the cigarette port out, and I ended up putting this connector in here. So the wire runs all the way to here, and so that'll be my connection for the radio. And then for this, I had to do some modification too, because the holes were pretty small, but this will be the connector just for charging, basically. And it'll also show me in the middle here, there's a display so that it'll show me the power of the alternator too. So that's already installed. You could see underneath is the connector for it. It's fused. I pushed it all the way in and I connected it. Positive goes to positive, negative goes to negative. So that's fully connected and ready to go. So now all I gotta do is finish these door speakers, the front door speakers. But I'm gonna power the car on real quick, make sure the radio is working. I'll be able to place sound from the back, so I'll make sure the sub is working, and I'll make sure at least the back speakers are working, and the radio itself, and then if everything is working, then I gotta figure out how to get that knob control for the sub. I gotta get it all the way to the front, And then I have to mount this mic somewhere. I'll probably end up putting it somewhere discreet. And that's it. So I'll get back with you once I have everything put together. All right. Hey guys, I'm back. I finally got the radio installed. The only thing I don't like is I got this dash kit from Crutchfield, and it doesn't exactly align right for some weird reason. So I'm probably gonna end up like putting foam or something in there just to get that out. But everything here works. I mean, this works, and then I ended up connecting this in. So now I have cables for that. One for Android Auto, one is for phone charging. My radio has automatic Android Auto, so basically just for charging. And then the mic is down there, and also the charger port is down here too. So that's all installed. Everything went in pretty clean, except for this. I don't like this stash, but and then another thing too is I ended up getting like steering wheel controls for the car, but the module itself for some reason is not programming into the steering wheel. So I'm gonna end up calling the manufacturer to figure out how to get it like properly installed, basically, and that'll be at a later time. But for now, I already got the speakers in. I got the front woofers in. Crossovers are almost all the way connected. The last two are for the tweeters. So all I have to do is just drill these holes out, install the tweeters, and then pop up my doors. I already tested everything. The sub works, the speakers work, everything is working really well. The screen itself looks amazing. So right now I'm just gonna finish all that, and I'll be back once I'm done with the doors. I'm finally done with everything. Got it plugged in. There's the tweeters for the new door. Everything's installed. I just turned it on again just to make sure all the sound is working. So everything's installed now. The last thing I have to do is I have to tune the sub, and I have to, put my settings on the radio. But that's it, guys. I mean, everything's installed, everything's nice and clean. I just gotta clean up my interior a little bit, but that's all for the installation. Now I got some before video of how my audio system sounded before the installation, and I'm gonna have a video for after I tune everything. I'm gonna have another video for just so you guys can hear the sound that's coming out these JL audios and my Alpine sub. But as of now, that's it. That's the whole installation process. Excuse the mess in my car. But if you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more updates. Alright guys, I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Okay guys, so I'm gonna do a quick pull here as soon as the light turns red, but I just wanted to show you guys how good the transmission is holding up after all these miles. So once I get the clear, I'm gonna do a quick pull just to show you guys. Just gotta wait for this red light basically. Yeah, got the radio already installed and everything. So yeah, this is in response to a commenter that was trying to see how the transmission was holding up. This is the AV6 transmission swap that I put into the car. So I'll show you exactly how well it's going, how well it's doing. Of course, I gotta do this with one hand. Let's see. As soon as I get the clear, there we go. I think that's as clean as a pull I can get. Let me see if I can get another one. Let's see. This is a good stretch of road here.